Hello and welcome to another installment in our ever-expanding distance learning series. We, along with all of you small business owners across the state, are digesting, evaluating, and adapting to the constant flow of information and changes to our daily routines to ensure that we are meeting the needs of all small business owners statewide. We're putting out a lot of information on a lot of different platforms. So please make sure that you check in with us wherever you can. Our website is updated daily and features links to our COVID-19 resources page. We also have a full list of upcoming classes, webinars like this one, other events hosted by the Iowa Center and the Women's Business Center. Our Instagram handle at the Iowa Center is posting information daily about our upcoming events and local small business news, profiles of local small business owners, etc. Our team also created a Facebook group called Iowa Small Business Resources and Support. That has been a really great place for members of the small business community to ask questions, brainstorm, generally interact with each other to learn about and help each other through the challenges we all share in such an uncertain and unfamiliar circumstance. In case you are unfamiliar with Zoom, we are recording these webinars to share on our website for anyone who needs to watch it again or anyone who is not able to join us in, well, I was going to say in person, but in the webinar. And all participants are muted. So if you have any questions throughout, please use the chat function or the Q&A function at the bottom of your window. As I said earlier, we're all learning to adapt and exist at distance. And one of the many ways small business owners can do that today is to offer their products and services online. So with that, I'm going to turn it over to our presenters today, Kat Hutchinson and Bridget Drendel from Project 7 Design. They're a creative studio who specialize in branding, logos, web, and print design. They're in the East Village of Des Moines for anyone familiar with the area, right across the street from the Iowa Tap Room. And they just celebrated their 3rd birthday last week. So Catherine and Bridget are here to talk about building your online store.
Hi, everyone. This is Bridget. Obviously, you can see that. I wish I could see all your faces. It's a little weird just to be speaking out loud to a screen. But Kat and I have been in business for 3 years, and we do a lot of web stuff and a lot of, obviously like a lot of print. And we've noticed this online need surging with recent events. Kat's going to speak personally about how that impacted her other business. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so obviously you're here, so thanks, and let's move on. Oh, sorry, gotta move. Sorry.
Yeah, and this is Kat. I just want to say, if you have any questions that pop up while we're going through, throw them in the chat or the question and answer, and then we'll answer them as we go or at the end or whatever makes sense. We're just gonna kind of go with the flow on that.
So we all know that tricky times are causing us to pivot and to shift gears and to figure out, what we're going to do with our businesses or your business, or, how you're going to change to react in a positive way to what's happening with all the craziness. Mm-hmm. Screen, I'm sorry, it's clicking. So we're going to talk about today some tips for, getting an online store up, what things you should have on it, and how to think through how to do that. So first of all, you should think about what you currently offer and how your clients currently access that. So, prior, to all the madness, what were you doing? How are your clients accessing that? And then we're going to noodle on how you can take those services or products and transfer them successfully to an online market. And you want to think about, are there any additional things you can add to your current store, or do you need to start from scratch? Maybe you have nothing online. Maybe you're not selling, anything right now. Maybe your service or your product was in the store, in a studio, or out of your home, and you didn't have to have anything online. So we're going to talk about what you can add. We're also going to talk about what you should not add. And that might be a little weird. What we're thinking is, think about your business, where it is now and where you want it to be after the madness. Like, you don't want to add things that don't make sense long term. You don't want to negatively react in a panicked way and start throwing things on your website. We're not going to start adding stuffed animals to Project Heaven's website, or I don't know what else we would add. Kat loves to craft. We're probably not going to throw all her art supplies on there, right? Even though that would be easy to do and it'd be fun. It's not in our long-term plan. So think about your long-term plan and what you can add up there that makes sense for your business. So, Kat, I'm going to let you hop in here because you own a barbershop and you recently had to live this experience firsthand. Oh my gosh, and there's my dog. I'm sorry. I'm going to mute while she's talking so you don't have to
hear the dog. So just to kind of piggyback on what Bridget's saying is the world that we are living in right now is confusing and scary, and you're not sure when you want to leave the house or what you want to leave the house for. Myself, just this week, I ordered groceries for pickup at Hy-Vee, and I've literally never done that before. And so I think we're all doing things differently in reaction to what's going on. One of those is, so this barbershop, Loyal Sons, it's on Ingersoll here in Des Moines. We sell product in the store. So outside of getting your hair cut or your beard trimmed or whatever other services they do, we sell hair products, so pomades, shampoos, conditioners, all that kind of stuff. And then we have some shirts that we sell and gift cards, and that's it. And we've talked about having this online because we have had people contact us like, oh, I'd love to get a shirt. Where can I order online? And we've always just had to be like, you got to come in and get it, because we never needed to have it online. And this last few weeks, we've had a lot of conversations with a lot of people, and the phrase necessity is the mother of invention kept showing up, which I thought was really interesting. And so it's something we always wanted to do, but when you have all these people in and out of your shop, it's not a necessity, so you don't bother. But we had a lot of people asking how they could support and what we could do. And so my husband and I own this barbershop together. And so we went down to the shop, we grabbed the inventory of all the shirts that we had. We took one of each pomade to make sure that we could check it out and get it on the website. We added this button, Bridget's showing that. I don't know if my mouth shows on screen, probably not. This shop button at the top, that never existed. And we got everything up there. We were really surprised. We haven't really promoted it a ton outside of a Facebook post that my husband did, but we got, 20 to 25 orders within the, like, I think it's been up for about a week. And so I think people are in this place too, where they still want to support small businesses and they want to do what they can, but they want to do it from home. And so we are offering shipping on our site, but we're also doing local delivery in Des Moines, which I've seen a lot of shops do that. I just did a big purchase from Domestica yesterday for cards and stuff, because I'm really into sending out letters. But an option on there was like free local delivery. And so what's really wonderful about that too is just from a personal level, my husband being home and not being around people, which he is all day long, I think it helps too from like a mental health perspective, and gives him, something to do, to package these products and go, drive across town and set it in a mailbox. And there's a really good aspect there too, in terms of keeping yourself busy in this strange downtime if your business can't be open. Did I miss me, Bridget?
So I think that's going to lead us really well into, if I can just learn to click, into how to start. And then we have an internal screaming, because it might be just one more thing you have to navigate right now, but it'll be awesome because you will need it in the future, and it can support your business really well right now. So these are the things we're going to be focusing on. We're going to talk about how to pick your platform, decide what you're offering, how you're going to fulfill your orders, mailing and delivery, payment and sales tax, and then testing and launching. So let's move down. So you're going to want to pick your your platform. If you currently have a website, then there might be a platform that makes sense. If you have a Wix website, obviously you're gonna keep doing that. If you have WordPress, you'll use WooCommerce. If you're not, like if you're like, I don't have a website, but you should. And if you don't want one, then you're not you're not very technical, then maybe you wanna, opt for an Etsy store. Etsy won't work for all services. Obviously there's some where that's just not going to make sense. But if it works for you and that's kind of where you're going, nothing wrong with that. They do sell lots and lots of things, so that's helpful. And then number 2, you have to decide what you're offering, right? So once you figured out what you're going to sell, you're going to want to, have a look at all those products, and you're going to write descriptions for all of them. Like you want to write how big they are, what color they are, maybe what they feel like, maybe how you would use them, something to help the user view your product more than only the beautiful photos that we want you to take. You want to decide on the prices. You want to know, what you're charging for everything. And maybe if you have over 20 items, you're going to want to put them into some categories to help the user easily navigate what you're doing. And then I've highlighted here now, like in orange, to take some really nice photos. So, you want to make sure that you're not, they're not blurred. The photos are not hard to see. Like you're not shooting things on very cluttered backgrounds. You want to make sure the product is really shining in the photo, so it's very obvious what's for sale, and it's it's very easy to see what it is. And then with the push with the descriptions, you have a really nice way to visually take in all the information you need for the product to make a good sale. Okay, so number 3, so you have your products, you've written your descriptions, you've spent hours taking beautiful photos, and now you have to figure out, okay, so I have all these things, who is going to do the fulfillment? And so you need to figure out, is it you? Are you going to be the one that's packaging all these up and filling out the labels and getting them out the door? Do you have someone who's going to help you? This might seem silly, but when you run a small business, there's lots of hats to wear. And so, just being clear of who, will be doing this work is important. And then you want to figure out how you're packaging these items. Are you putting them in bags, in boxes, in envelopes? You also want to be cautious here of how much these things, cost. So, like it might be wonderful to mail them in like rainbow envelopes with, bows and stickers, but is that going to start eating into your, cost? So you want the things, that you're mailing them in to look nice and quality, but you also want to be mindful that, it's not going to cut too heavily into your profit. And then you want to figure out, when are you mailing these packages? Are you going to mail these every day, every week? And the reason you want to figure that out is, you want to be clear about how long people will have to wait to get things. We're all living in this zippy world of, Amazon Lives and, Instacart. But if it's, something more special, people are, often willing to wait. And so if they have to wait, you just want to be consistent. You don't want to start, you don't want to start out offering a 2-day delivery, and then the next thing you know, it's a month, because it's just not a good, brand, brand voice. And then the last little thing of fulfillment is you want to decide, are you doing anything extra? Anything special? Are you adding a personal note, a sticker, a packing slip? My husband once ordered me this felt envelope to go over my laptop. And it came in this, regular box, but she had used like a tissue paper that was really sweet. And she wrote a handwritten note about how much she loved making it. And that I always remembered how nice that was. And, I could envision this woman, writing this note and taking pride in this beautiful product. And that was really special. That might be something that you're like, I do not wish to write love notes to everyone. I just want to mail it. And that's fine too. Absolutely fine. So we're going to move on to mailing and delivery. So you want to figure out where you're shipping to. Are you going to ship locally? Are you going to ship statewide? Are you going to ship nationwide or even international? Sky's the limit, but you can't, maybe right now those might be a little bit more tricky. And you want to figure out where you're shipping to and then how, because depending on where it will go, will impact how you're shipping it. If it's all local, maybe you're hand delivering, like Kat's husband, which is, kind of gets you out of the house a little bit in a safe way, also trims the cost of the shipping. Or if you're shipping heavy things, you may want to figure out, which one of these options is working for you. And then you want to figure out how much are you going to charge to have things sent. What is the cost? Is it free? Are you going to add the cost into the price of the item? So you're going to just, not hide it in there, but essentially hide it in there, right? Or are you going to offer maybe lower cost shipping for if you spend over, X amount? So all these things you kind of need to noodle through and figure out, what's going to be the cost. So this leads us to part B of this mailing and delivery. There's two popular shipping methods for flat rate shipping. And this might, this is going to require a little bit of research on your end because you don't want to undercharge or overcharge. And with the flat rate shipping, you have two options, and they're nicely outlined for you there. A is a fixed amount, which seems, easy to me. If your items are all generally the same weight, maybe it's all shirts, that's an easy one. If you're shipping, earrings and refrigerators, then that's probably not going to be the way to go. You probably want to use the weight-based because you're going to have, things that absolutely cost more to ship and things that'll cost less. And so you don't want your customers to have to pay huge amounts if they're, receiving a smaller, lighter item. The same as if you're spending the money to ship a, refrigerator, you don't want it, to eat up the whole amount of your, profit. So that will lead us to, Kat, do you have anything here? Or you good?
No, I think you covered everything. Yeah.
Okay. Sure. I felt like, just want to make sure. Okay. Step 5, payment. This is the part that we're, excited about. You're going to be excited about. So how will you set up your, payments? And this is going to take some time. When we, set these up for our clients, we always warn them, like, this is a good time to grab a snack, just relax a little bit and get ready to do some noodling here. So you want to figure out how you will receive your payments. Are you going to use PayPal? Are you going to use Stripe? Are there other options, maybe Apple Pay, etc.? And this is where you're going to figure out the taxes, where things ship and the taxes, how much things will cost. You're going to kind of organize that all in one of these payment areas. So this is hard work, but after you've done it, it's easy breezy to get moving with that. Okay, and this leads us to the final step, the testing and launching. And so often people are like, well, I have everything, I'm just going to upload it. But we caution you to absolutely stop and to do some checking and testing. So these are the things you absolutely must make sure work before it's live and there for everyone to be clicking around on. You want to make sure that your checkout works. Does the payment work? Check that when you add multiple things to your cart that it's calculating correctly, or tax is shown correctly for the location that they're shipping to. The easiest way to do that is to place an order yourself and then refund yourself. So not only are you able to make sure that the payment works, the adding things to the cart works, but if you offer refunds, that you're able to do that. So that will eliminate any anxiety on your end if that should pop up in your world. You also want to test what it's like to shop around in your store. Like, how does that feel? Does it make sense? Are you easily able to navigate that? Do all the buttons work? I would ask your friends and family to have a little, poke around, to make sense. Because, for you, it'll be your website or your store, and you'll know what it's, supposed to do. And so you already have a ingrained knowledge of that. But if you ask other people who haven't been working on it, they might be able to offer you some feedback or suggestions. And then absolutely, you want to make sure that it works on mobile and all devices. People will be using, their phones. 53% of all sales are done on phones. Is it working on desktops? Is it working on tablets? And then is it working in all the browsers? Is it working on Chrome, Firefox, Safari? You can even go as far as to make sure that it works on PC and Mac. So this is the checking portion. And you want to make sure this is really important after all the work you put in of images, writing, organizing, payment, packaging. You want to make sure that when people go to use your store, that they're not irritated, they're not annoyed, it's easy to use. You want them to be coming back as often as possible and making orders. And so it needs to be slick. And if there's errors and there's, weird things not working, it, lowers the buyer's trust in your website.
Mm-hmm. One thing I was going to say too is when we have tested things before and having sales tax auto populate, making sure that you're turning that on and off for certain things. So like for gift cards, for example, you wouldn't charge the sales tax. So that was just one of those little random things that I encountered last week. And I was like, oh, that's just, if you didn't test it, you might have missed that and accidentally charged additional taxes when you didn't need to.
Well, yeah, that's good. It's true. And so then a few highlights. Know what you're offering for now and for the long term. I know we rambled about that in the beginning, but we're all feeling a little worried, a little panicked, a little, a lot of unknown. But we still need to be smart about how businesses. We need to be smart about the long term. We need to be thinking about how this can be an asset and not really a Band-Aid. And then think about what's the edge part, how that shopping experience might be, fun or a little bit different, the things you're offering, how are they, interesting and, fun for the user. And then choose a platform that works for your current website, one that you can easily update. As a small business owner, you have plenty of other things to do. You don't need to spend more time. Oh my gosh, I'm sorry about my dog if you can hear it. Updating your site. And then the photos, again, make sure, they're really nice photos, write a description that, further explains, maybe have, someone proof what you've read to make sure that it makes sense to something outside of your head. Decide where you're shipping to, decide how you're getting the packages to your clients. Are you adding a little something extra? And then test and test again. Okay, those are all the tips we have for setting up a amazing store. Kat, did anyone have any comments or whoops, you know what? Go down a page. Q&A.
I haven't seen but if there's any specific questions for your business or web stores in general or anything pondering on your mind that we didn't cover, please put them in the chat or the Q&A portion of the Zoom meeting here, and we can get those answered. Let's see here.
I see that. Okay.
Oh, do you have any recommendations for folks offering non-tangible items? For example, I do video.
Yes. So you're offering video, like video services for companies, and then you're wanting to offer something online with video? Like, is that, like, you think that's the question?
I think so. Yes, she said normally yes with trying to get creative. So I think
Okay.
this is Laura who we met at the other meeting. She has a business where she does video, marketing videos or web videos or all that kind of stuff for clients. So how would you make that a purchasable item? This is interesting. That's an interesting question. Do you have any thoughts?
Yeah, I wonder if, and I don't know, this is just, I'm noodling right now, but people are kind of documenting their lives a little bit right now. So I wonder if you offered a service like, send me some photos and you could kind of weave them together into like a story talking about, things, or like, we're kind of missing, like friends. So can people send you, photos, and you could weave those into video stories for them? And that might be like a nice way to kind of, document things, or to go back and be like, gosh, I wish I had, I have all these photos of my, kids. Is it possible you could make like, like a little video story of their life? Like, I think that would be really fun.
Mm-hmm.
And I can't see your face, so I don't know if you're like shaking your head, or maybe hopefully you're writing that down and that's real fun to you.
Oh. Let's see what she says. I know Michelle I could offer not be long term. I think she means to use an e-commerce platform with as a product when you're selling a service. I don't know if that's.
Oh, I don't know either.
I'm not sure if that would be the best way to use an e-commerce platform personally.
Yeah.
I think if you're running a business and you're custom quoting projects and you're doing creative things for clients, especially video, I think you probably would need to custom quote and use a QuickBooks.
Yes, I think so too. The custom quoting, because you don't want to, like offer X and then you get a tricky bunny, and now, like it's, yeah, like then you're losing money. So I think with stuff that's like really particular, you probably want to, to custom quote.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay, so we'll move on to a different one. This person says, I own a consignment shop. All of my online items would be just one only. So how do I update to make sure after the sale that it's no longer available online?
So you'd have to set that up on that end, or you'd have to keep an inventory of it. So obviously when you make a sale, you probably want to go and remove that. Or I believe in WooCommerce, there's a way to set how many of that object you have, and then they can remove it, from the website after it's gone. So obviously after one sale, it'll be gone.
Yeah, so you can just set your quantity to one.
Yeah. That'll be easy breezy.
Do you have any advice on there being an ease of uploading from an SEO perspective? I'm not quite sure ease of uploading in SEO perspective. So what's your best advice on how to sort out which would be best from an ease of uploading and SEO perspectives in terms of an e-commerce store? Do you have a recommendation?
I say ease for uploading. I would, definitely make sure that all your images are the same size, that they're all, web quality. You don't want to upload massive images, because it's going to slow your whole, store down. And then for SEO, writing those descriptions in there is going to be really good. You're going to be talking about your products and, what they are. And, all of that is going to absolutely feed into your SEO. And then you could throw out, some Google ads and kind of, help your store that way. You can promote on Facebook and link back to your website. All of that is going to be really good, for you.
Mm-hmm. Another question, do you have hints or tips on uploading product photos or size suggestions? What would be best for that?
Yeah, so you want to pick a ratio that, for ease, like if you're taking everything maybe with your iPhone, I'm assuming that you're, you're probably not having a photographer come and to your house, or maybe you, I mean, I don't know, or maybe you are one, I would just make sure the ratio stays the same. So that way you're not having to, to go in and crop everything to, like a weird dimension. And then make sure that everything is, depending on the, the picture, you definitely want to keep it under meg, or definitely even smaller than that would be even better. What was the next part of that? I think, and then you want to make sure that they're RGB and that they're 72 dpi for upload.
This is an interesting one too. So this person said it's not a good idea to offer items that won't be long term, but would it be fine to do limited time offerings or something along those lines? Like, are there products during this pandemic that would make sense for a business to sell that might be short term? Do you have any thoughts there?
Yes, absolutely. And I can think of 2 businesses locally that are actually 3 that are doing that right now. So I know that Molly's Cupcakes is offering, you can go and pick up like a cupcake icing, kit to take home. And I don't know if they plan to do that long term, but I know that's a new item that they added. I know that there's a hair salon in Des Moines that is letting clients call them and request their hair color, and then they're mixing up your hair color and giving you instructions on how to do it at home. So that's, they're keeping their clients, they're also matching up the last color that you had there. And then there's I think it's Ephemera, and I hope I get this right. They're doing 2 special things right now where you can order like a box. So you can go on their website and you can order like a box of all different things. And then they have like a mail at home, kit where you can order like letters and envelopes and cards to write letters. So those are kind of special things that they're promoting right now. They match what they do. It's using their current inventory, and it's, but it's all, all specialized for this, time. So yeah, absolutely. I think that works really well. It just needs to make sense with what you're doing.
There's some in the chat here. I apologize. One of them is, do you know what the average fulfillment time frame is? I'm not sure. I think it just depends on industry. Do you have any thoughts there?
Yeah, I think it depends on industry. And I think right now it might also be, obviously like, postal service stuff, like, regular mail locally is probably the same, because I think that's still, I know that Amazon's slower, so I assume that other things are, slowing down. So that's not typical. And that might be something, that you want to kind of note in your, we're moving things as fast as we can, blah, blah, blah. To double check on that.
Let me see if better shopping platforms cost down. Okay, so I have a couple questions from the same person. I'll just kind of group them together. So she says, how have you been marketing on Facebook and Instagram / what's working for marketing strategy? And then she specifically wrote about her online store called Focus Gear. It's an athletic and urban wear online store, and they also offer custom designed uniforms. Do you have any ideas on how we can reach out to schools at this moment? That's tricky.
Yeah, for uniforms right now, I feel like, and I don't know, but I feel like schools are maybe trying to figure out how to handle the online learning right now. So I like schools might be a little overwhelmed, but they're still hiring and doing all the regular things. So maybe that might be something where you have to kind of make your list of which schools you want to go after, and then market towards them. You'd be at a special package you mail them, or an email you send them. And then as far as marketing on Facebook and Instagram, you can absolutely do ads, or work on a Facebook store, which works in conjunction with your with your website. It like syncs up with your Facebook account, and you can tag products in your stories and stuff.
So one of the questions here that I've gotten a couple times is, it's important to pick an e-commerce situation that's easy to use for uploading and such. How do you go about comparing those different options? So Shopify versus WooCommerce versus Etsy, and then selecting the right platform for your e-commerce needs.
I think that would depend on what your current website is, or how you have it built, or what you're doing.
It's a little more of a specific question. I think if you're starting from scratch.
I'll flash out like email here. And if you want to email, Kat and I can just talk through that with you and, help you with that. We're always willing to help small business. We're always willing to, kind of help you noodle. So if you want us to have a look at your website and help you through that, we absolutely are, happy to do that for you. We want to be supportive of small business during this, time. So don't, bother us as much as you want to get, specifics.
Mm-hmm. Oh, sorry, this was a follow-up. So for the image sizes that we talked about earlier, Bridget, you mentioned under 1 megabyte, but did you have other recommendations? I think maybe they're asking like pixel width and height, which a little tricky to specify.
It is. Yeah, because it is going to depend on, it is going to depend on how large that image is on the website.
Right.
A web developer always says to, to use, standard sizes and to not crop anything. So anything between 1,500 wide is usually, good. It won't be, blurry and stuff like that. So that's, kind of good. 1,500 pixels, not inches. That wouldn't load. Yeah.
This is kind of a different question. It doesn't particularly apply. Well, it does. It definitely does. So, what are your thoughts about reaching out to clients and audiences with the new opt-in laws? Starting in Europe and now moving to the US, readers now have an opt-in to your newsletters, like email newsletters, versus when we used to be an opt-out or unsubscribe. So that's kind of, maybe they're trying to build their audience for email marketing, I would imagine.
Yeah. Oh gosh, these opt-in things are such a
bummer.
Yeah, such a pain in the butt. Yeah. I mean,
I was gonna say, a lot of times, there's those funnel systems that people use. So offering some sort of, we like to call them a freemium, like a free premium, something that people would need to opt into in order to receive. So a lot of times, and it depends on your business, it's like a white paper about a topic, or in these weird times, it could be things to, boredom busters for your kids at home. I guess it just has to apply to what your business does and make sense. And it has to be something that people would want to opt into. So you need to make sure that you're not just sending sales emails constantly. Also, if you're asking, buy, and not offering some content that also would be helpful to the end user, that might get them kind of frustrated too, and have them not want to be emailed. So it's kind of that fine balance of, offering support and thoughtfulness, and then also, then the sale has to come second.
It does. And then I'm seeing here that she reached out to coaches and clients, and they thought it was spam. If if you're trying to reach a specific coach, maybe write them something more, personal, like maybe it's more of a direct mail, situation where if I want to reach, XYZ people, and exactly who they are, then target them in a personal yet not creepy way.
Mm-hmm.
Right? You know, like if you have, a catalog you can mail them, or like a brochure. And then maybe there's an option in there, like, join our mail list or something, like that. If you're targeting specifics and not just like like a wider net, then I would work on, connecting with those, people, personally.
Mm-hmm. All right. Well, we have our web address up there. So if anybody wants to shoot it, we have like a contact form on our website. If you have any other questions or are just curious about things, we're happy to help. As Bridget said earlier, we want to help small business and make sure everyone gets through these weird times together, and we all come out at the other end of this successful and still owning and running our small businesses. So.
Awesome.
And I'm going to piggyback on that, if you don't mind.
Yeah.
No.
If for anyone that's been to more than one of these, you've heard this at least 20 times already. But we want to make sure that, again, that we have all of the resources getting to the people that need them through, as you said, this very uncertain and difficult time. So please constantly check in with our Instagram, our Facebook, our website for new classes coming up. We're doing webinars like this, tutorials. We are posting these recordings afterwards for anyone that needs to watch it again, or anyone who wasn't able to show up in person. We have a link directly to schedule one-on-one coaching. If you need less specific support for your business and you just want to be able to talk to us so that we can get a good idea of what you need and get you linked up with the right resources in that correct field, please don't hesitate to schedule some one-on-one coaching time. We are coming up with some new education platforms and courses in the very near future, so please stay tuned for that. I want to again thank Bridget and Catherine for helping out, along with all of the volunteers that we've had the last couple weeks and the ones that we have scheduled the next couple weeks in front of us. So please stay tuned for all of those upcoming webinars. I think we're going to cover legal topics, cash flow, the CARES Act. We have a lot of really good content coming up. I want to thank Lisa for helping with the volunteers, and Katie at the Women's Business Center for helping just get everything in line with all of the different education opportunities that we have coming up. Do either of you have anything else you want to say about building your online store?
Oh,
any other questions to answer?
No.
It's amazing, and it's and it's fun to do, and yeah, I'm happy to help anyone. Am I on mute?
Nope, you're good.
No, you're good.
I do that all the time. So yeah, we're happy to help. Any way we can. We know this is a hard and yucky, and yeah, and we're passionate. Like we can just say it a million times. We're just passionate about small business. We're passionate about being helpers. So yeah. Hope
We
that
know
was
that
helpful.
we kind of talked about this at the start, but it's hard for both the presenters and anybody showing up to attend something like this if you're not used to it. We're social creatures, and we like to make eye contact and be in the same room when we learn and talk about new things. So we're all learning new routines and skills and tools, and we want to make sure that, again, we're getting the right stuff to the right people. So if you have any questions, comments, or concerns about the education we're providing, please don't hesitate to reach out. We want to make sure that we're getting the content you need. So let us know how we're doing, and please tune in for all the upcoming webinars. And I don't have anything else. So
Awesome. Well, thank you.
thanks, everybody.